Okay, now that we got that, I'm going to put in, I think that's right. I'm going to put in this value right here on that. And I'm going to start over here. I could start right next to the other one, but I'm going to start over here. And I'm just going to try and match it in the shapes. If, like I said, if you go over the lines, you go over the lines on that one, so we're not going to worry about it. This one is a little bit darker. So I'm going to take this. That looked like a pretty good match as far as the color and value goes, like that. And notice what I'm doing. I'm just dipping my brush in some water and using just the strength of that initial pigment to try and bring this over here. And if I need a little bit more, I can just do this. I can just come in like that and then dip a little bit more paint into my water because it's a big puddle, right? And so we want this kind of an even sort of a wash. And then we're going to take it on around. And then take it around, painting up to the pepper, but not actually over the pepper. And let's bring some of this over here now. Notice since we're spreading it with a puddle that it's already wet, it seems to be working out okay for us. And then I can come here and paint right up to the line or over the line, like that. Now the beauty of painting, I suppose, I didn't have to match this purple brown color. If I didn't want my purple brown color to be the background color, I could have chose something else. Maybe a gray or a blue gray or something like that. But this seems to be working out okay, right? Let's add a little bit more value. And then let's just take that around down here. So I wanted it to be that value. I wanted it to be a little bit darker. And so let's take a little more pigment. Now if I was trying to create more of a gradient in here to where it was blending, I'd be dealing with the strength of how much pigment per water there is as it dries. I have a little white dot right there. And I usually like the corners to be a little bit darker, and so I've come back in here and I put a little bit more of this red-brown color in this background. Not red-brown, what was it? Yellow-brown, purple-brown? There we go. So I went just a little bit darker. And it's once you have the puddle established there, it's easy to go back in and add just a little bit more pigment. And so there's that piece there. Let's go ahead. Now, as we come across here, we notice that we're going to get some areas that are going to be a little bit more, they're separated by a line. That's going to be a darker line, so we're going to come back in and paint that over top of that anyway. So if this blends together, we're still okay. But it makes it easier if we paint it in little sections, right? Boom, boom. All right, let's go ahead and move over here. Now I may have in my tray, you may have some of the pigment starting to settle a little bit. Okay, now this one is darker, right? That little section. And This one right here is a little bit. Remember, don't have any little white specks or little white lines or any little white parts between your applications of paint. Okay, so now we have that, and so I made sure there was no little white dots between these two values. Okay, let's work on down a little bit more. Let's go over to this one. Whee! On areas that you're pretty comfortable with, you can almost be carefree on your application. And then I'm going to apply it here, mostly because I want it to be applied in those sections. Now I can also rotate my paper, right? I don't have to always have it straight up and down. And this is bled over a little bit, that's okay. And so I would recommend rotating your paper so you can get your brush at the proper angle to do your painting. Like that. And I think I'm going to come back in here like this. And I'm going to repaint that area. I didn't like the stain that was right there. And so I'm just going to re-wet this area right here. And make it blend into this one a little bit. That's because they'll be separated by a darker line later anyway. Alright, let's go over to this one. And let's put that over there right up to the line. Stab it into the corner. Let's get a little more pigment. Need a little more darker here, right? It'll be a little easier to tell our peppers if we have the background filled in. We'll be able to see it a little bit better. There we go. That one started to dry a little bit. Okay. Now the final area that we have that we're going to try to do is this bigger one right back down into here. I'm just kind of repositioning my paints, and so I can get some water in there. And I'm going to try to do the bigger area close to the pepper there. Like that. Hopefully I won't run out of paint, because it is a bigger area. We'll probably have to get another batch as we go into our next one. And now I'm going to come up here, just because I wanted that one to dry a little bit more, so it wouldn't bleed, it wouldn't cause a little fan effect. And then this comes right up to here. And this one up to there. Now this technique is relatively easy, which is why I wanted to do this one. But it's a good technique. Just because it is easy doesn't mean it's wrong or anything like that. It actually works out pretty nice for putting our paints in. Okay, so now we filled all these areas. with our light medium value. Now we talked about a little bit darker in the corners, right? So I'm just going to put a little bit darker value there. I'm going to pull a little bit out right there. I definitely want it a little darker in the corner. Okay, so there's our background area. This one created a little bit of a fan, a little bit of a line here on that one. I think I want to go back in and re-wet this. And that's just because there was a puddle there. But if you come back and re-wet it and scrub it in a little bit, it'll work out for us. Okay, looks like they have some other little fun looking things there. And so now we have that color. So wow, that took a lot of work, Mr. White. It did. But it was pretty cool. I think that worked out okay.